This video is to go through the OnCourse Classroom's assignments page. If you notice on the page on the left-hand side, once you click into the tab, you will see a list of your classes under the first drop-down menu. And then you will see a possibility for all marking periods or individual marking periods. You'll also see the possibilities of viewing all of your assessments, just your active ones, or the ones that are currently returned. There are 3 different colors that are associated. We will go through those colors at the end of the video. In order to create a new assignment, you would click on the left-hand side, and a new pop-up window would be shown. At the top, you would have to name it. I'm going to name mine sample. You could give it to whichever period you are in, or you could change periods. You would then be able to give it to just your entire class, or again, by clicking the down arrow, you could give it to your sample group that you previously made in the prior video, or you could give it to specific students. You also have a possibility of a due date and due date options. In due date options, you can see that you can not only mark your submissions late, but you can also change that so that there is either no submission required or there is no due date. You can also say that they need a submission, but just not to mark it late. You can also schedule when your assignment is going to go out. So if I click on schedule, you will see that I can change the date and the time to whenever I need it to go out. You also have the ability to allow students to view the returned assessments or not. And you also have the ability to use 2 different types of assessments, online only or online in print. Online only gives you more options for types of questions, where online in print will limit the types of questions that you have. In the scoring box, this is where you would put your total number or the highest score that you are going to give in your assessment. And then there is a possibility for you to use a check mark. Please remember that with a check mark, if you give it a check mark, it will give the assignment 100. If you give it an X, it will give it a 0. You can also add this directly to your gradebook as you begin to create it. So if I click on Add to Gradebook, I would then pick the marking period that this is going to go into. And once I pick the marking period, you will also need to pick the category that this is going to go into. You can choose this to be a non-calculated item, meaning that it is not going to go towards the student's final average, and you can include the due date in the name. On the right-hand side of the settings window, you will see that there is a place for special instructions for the students, as well as any place to put the attachments, much like the messaging window. Please notice there is a bunch of different options as to what you can attach. At the top of that page, you see the assignment tab. If you click on the assignment tab, it takes you to where you would be creating and generating your questions. On the left-hand side, you would click Add Item. By clicking Add Item on the left-hand side, this is going to add a screen to your final assessment. However many screens you want the students to scroll through would be however many items would be on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, the big giant blue plus sign is where you would create your questions. This is for however many questions that you want. Generally, there is a lot of different types of questions. You do have a commonly used questions where you can do multiple choice, fill in the blanks, a drop-down menu with a fill in the blanks, or a simple essay. You also have options for different types of essays for written and recorded. You also have different types for graphing, for different types of mathematic formulas, as well as for different types of file uploads and or filling in shapes. There is also a features button, and the features button goes through different rulers, as well as different images, a calculator, and passages. Today we are going to do a simple true-false question. So I clicked on true-false, and then I have the ability to type in the question that I would like to ask. So we are going to type in our question. This text is fully editable. You can change the size. You can change the position. You can change the color, a lot of different things. You can also add any links that you would like the students to possibly go to. You can add images or mathematical equations or text, different types of tables. There is a variety of different things. So is the sky blue is our question? We would then need to give the correct number of points. So I'm going to use this as a sample and give it 10 points. So this question for true or false will be 10 points. In order to select that to be the correct answer, I would click on true. And then you have other options as far as what is happening. You can shuffle your options, meaning it's not always going to be A is true, B is false. They would shuffle. If you have more than one option, you could add that. And then I would, in order to see my question, I would click preview. I can double check my answer by clicking show answer. And then I would need to hit save assignment. As you notice now on the left-hand side, it did change my original to is the sky blue? And then here is my question. There is an edit tab at the top and then a trash can right underneath it. If I wanted to add a secondary question right underneath that and have my students stay on the same screen, I would click the plus sign at the bottom. If I would like my students to move to a new screen, I would need to click add item on the left-hand side. So we're going to add a new item saying that they are going to a new screen and then add another question on the right-hand side. This time we are going to choose a multiple choice. Again, you get the same similar setup. Again, I'm going to use a simple question as far as what color is the sky. And here I have many different options for multiple choice. I can do all 4 questions. I can add more answers to my question, more possibilities. I'm going to type in a few different options. And add another. So now I have a total of 5 possible answers. Again, if you notice, as I typed them in, they were continued down at the bottom. Again, I'm going to make this question 10 points, and I'm going to select that the correct answer is blue. I can click multiple responses, meaning that there was going to be more than one correct answer. And again, I can shuffle my options, meaning that the answers will not be seen the same way per each student. I'm going to click preview to make sure I have my question and the answer is correct, to show my answer, and then again hit save. If I would like the students to stay on this screen and say answer an essay question about it, I would click the plus sign at the bottom and then click on essay. You can ask a question as far as why is the sky blue? And then I can change the word limit. If I'd like my students to be able to give me a short answer, I can change that. I can also change the total number of points, and I can give them a minimum score if they attempted to do it. I can allow them to have spell check involved, and then click preview. Notice that there is a special characters button here should they need it. And then once again, I'm going to click save assignment. There is a settings button that if you have multiple questions in the same item, you will see that you can either do them in a single column or that you can do them and split the screen. So if I go a 50-50 screen split, click apply, you will notice I have one question on the left-hand side, one question on the right-hand side. Oops, I'm sorry. I can move this question over to the right-hand side. So as you notice, you can drag and drop. So you can drag and drop where you want your different questions to go. So I can move them around and put them on either side. If I preview the question, this is how it will look when my students see it. Notice this is 0 out of 20, meaning each of these is worth 10 points apiece. If I exit out, You will see on the left-hand side, it does say sample. This is the assignment that we just created. You will now see that there are different options. So you can give the students, you can message all the students, you can unblock them or block them. You will see that you have different options. You can reopen the assignment. You can also auto grade and auto return. Under tools, you can publish the assignment, meaning this is going to give it to the students. You can also duplicate the assignment. This is how you would send it to other classes. So if I click on duplicate, I would click on the top bar, and then I would duplicate it to the other classes that I have. Please remove the original class as to not have two of the same assignment in one class. Please notice it also automatically filled in where you want it to go in your gradebook. If I click copy to classes, the assignment was successfully duplicated into the classes. If I changed and went into a second class, you will see that sample is now there. Under tools, there is also a very helpful information called item called view access codes. This allows the students to take the assessment in a secured platform on their Chromebooks. You would need to export or print or give each student their own code, as well as the assignment code. The students would open up their Chromebooks and go to a similar app such as NJSLA or PARC. You also have an ability to, when you create a assignment, within the assignment, you can use what is called the item bank. The item bank will have questions per standard based on the NJSLA standards that we have. So for example, if I was going to go to mathematics, mine is going to come up as a favorite for high school algebra. I can click into a standard, make sure you put it under KDS inspect. And once you do that, you will see that there are items based on the standard. They have multiple types of items, either multiple choice, classification, closed text, plain text, or you can change, so you can select it based on the type of question, or you can select it based on the chosen skill that you would like, recall or skill-based concepts. In order to view that, you would click on the magnifying glass. And then you can preview this. You can add the item directly into your assignment, and you'll notice on the left-hand side that is now an option and available. Once I am ready to publish the assignment to my students, I would click Save and Publish, or from the Edit menu, I would click Tools, and then I would click on Publish Assignment. If you are happy with how your assignment came out, under Tools, you can add it directly to your assignment bank. Your assignment bank is where you would keep your assignments for multiple years to come. In the assignment bank is also where you can share your assessments with other staff members. I have organized mine based on the chapters that we teach. If I'd like to share with other staff members, you can refer to the Google slideshow for that. Once you have published an item, for example, my 6-1 quiz, if you go into your gradebook, you will notice that in my quizzes section, right here, it says 6-1 quiz, it gives the date, and while it's not published out to the students, it is published and their grades are publishing into their grades into my gradebook. If I go back into classroom, you will notice that this bar is completely green. That means that I have 24 out of 24 students graded. If I go to quarterly questionnaire, I have 22 students that are not graded, and I have 1 student that is not submitted. So if you see red, that means that it is not submitted. 20 or the yellow means that it is not yet graded, and anything in the green means that it is graded or it was auto graded. Once your students have turned it in, you will see where it says a submission. If you click on that submission, you move on to the assignment grader. You can grade your assignments in a number of different ways. You can grade it per student, or you can grade it per item. It is going to auto-generate a grade as long as you have filled in the correct answer and the number of numerical points. It will also give a minimum if you have said that there is a minimum. You can go in and change a student's grade if they got the correct answer, and it will automatically update their grade on the top. If you would like to grade by item, it will give you the list of the students, and then you can scroll through each one. This is also where you would view any short answers. You would be able to see your difference in a correct answer versus what the student has typed in. You would also see the times and how many submissions they had made. And you can also change and put it to a different class. And put it to the quiz that you were looking for. You can also make a comment on the student's quiz or test based on the comment bubble in the upper right-hand corner. You can also, if you are going to block your students so that they cannot submit or see their test, you would see a red circle with a line through it. You can also then unblock the student once you are ready for them to see it. Once you are ready and you are ready to return the assignment and publish the grade to the students, you can also, click fill and give everybody what grade that you would like to give them in your gradebook. When you are ready, you would click return assignments and publish grades. In order to get back into your gradebook, again, you could either select the home or go straight on the left-hand side back into your gradebook. In the next video, we will be discussing how the students access their OnCourse classroom and where they see their information.